This video will be a start of a series that I am making, and this series will be about debunking lies about my religion, Islam. And I will repost this video as well as the other videos I will make in the future on my Instagram, on YouTube, on Rumble, and on X. And I will have the link in my bio, so be sure to follow me over there. And this particular subject in this series will be about Aisha and her age when she married the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Many critics of Islam, such as Islamophobes, Christian nationalists, Christian apologists, as well as some of our Muslim brothers and sisters who defend this, and radical Islamists who are the extremists, constantly use Sahih al-Bukhari, which is a Sunni Islamic hadith which says that Aisha was about 6 to 9 when she married the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. But was she though? The answer is no. She was about 18 to 19. So let's get into it. So let's just go ahead and get on with the obvious part. That hadiths are not authentic. They are talking points from different imams of what they believe to be the words of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and his companions. And about majority of hadiths, regardless of how authentic they are, including Sahih al-Bukhari, have been corrupted, manipulated, fabricated, which is why that they are not absolute truths. The Quran, alongside other books from God, like the Torah, the Tanakh, which includes the Torah, the Bible, and last but not least the Quran, are absolute truths. They are different books revealed to different prophets from God. Surah 16 verse 89 in the Quran says that the Quran is indeed an absolute truth. For hadiths to be considered true, they have to go through a process of verification. And how to do that? Well, there is 5 steps. The first step is to go to the Quran and not the hadith. Step 2, read the Quran and not cherry pick parts of it and not take it out of context. Step 3, go to the particular part of the hadith. Step 4 is try to connect the hadith with the verses in the Quran. And if there is anything historical, such as an event, go to step 5, which is point out any historical findings. I have read the Quran a lot. I have not fully memorized it, but I know a lot of what is in the Quran. As a moderately practicing Muslim who has been Muslim for 7 years and counting, Surah 4 verse 6 and verse 22 basically condemn child marriages as well as forced marriages. Some critics of Islam use Surah 65 verse 4 to say that there is indeed child marriage, when in reality it doesn't. The verse is talking about rules for divorce, and many critics of Islam constantly use those that do not menstruate to assume that it involves kids. It's talking about men and women, not children. Only women can menstruate. Men cannot. As I already went through step 2 without mentioning step 2, let's just go ahead and go to step 3. The hadith from Sahih al-Bukhari is 5134, where it says that Aisha was about 6 to 9 when she married the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and stayed with him for almost a decade until his death. But did she really though? Which leads to step 4. If he did marry Aisha, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, to Aisha, when she was about 6 to 9, then he would be going against what the Quran teaches in Surah 4 verse 6. Now on to step 5, historical accounts to disprove the claim that Aisha was about 6 to 9 when she married the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. The first thing I will include for historical accounts involving hadiths is that many hadiths, regardless of how authentic they are, give different ages for Aisha. Some say that she was 7, some say that she was 11, some say that she was 12, 13, 14, when in reality she was about 18 to 19. Historical accounts show that Aisha was playing with dolls when she met the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, around the time of the revealing of the 54th chapter of the Quran, which was revealed about a decade before the journey to Medina, also known as the Hijrah. And the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, married Aisha about a year or two after Hijrah. If Aisha was about 6 to 9 when she married the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, how was she about 6 to 9 around the time of the revealing of the 54th chapter of the Quran, which was revealed a decade before Hijrah, and she married him after Hijrah? The math is not mathing. Aisha took part of Hijrah, which, according to the Muslim rules, in order to participate in battles as well as journeys with the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, you have to be at least 15 years of age or older to participate. Aisha took part in battles with the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, showing that she was overaged. And Asma, the older sister of Aisha, was 10 years older than Aisha. She was about 27 to 28 during Hijrah, showing that Aisha was 17 to 18 during Hijrah. And may I not forget that Aisha's birth year was either 604 AD or 605 AD, and she died in 678 AD, living to be about 73 to 74. Now, since we got that, let's just go ahead and talk about Sahih al-Bukhari. Sahih al-Bukhari, which is the first collection of hadiths, and many Sunni Muslim scholars consider it to be the most authentic of hadiths. But just because it's mostly authentic doesn't mean that there is some errors or lies in them. Sahih al-Bukhari was not written by the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. It was written by an Uzbekistani Muslim Imam of Sunni Islam named Muhammad al-Bukhari, hence the name al-Bukhari, who lived about 200 years after the time of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and Aisha. When trying to compile information, it was mixed up. So yes, Aisha was about 18 to 19 when she married the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and not 6 to 9. The part in Sahih al-Bukhari that you guys like to use to say otherwise has been manipulated, fabricated, and mixed up, proven to be false.